Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. The Sony FDR-AX100 that I have right here is on its way back to B&H. I got it as a loaner for review, and I thought before we send it back, we would do a video tour for you of the AX100. Just give you a quick rundown of the outer components and just give you a quick video tour, show you what everything is. So first off, we have the Sony Cold Shoe, which is up here, and that is the multi-interface shoe. I'm not even sure if it's technically a cold shoe or a hot shoe, but anyways, Sony multi-interface shoe right there underneath this nice little cover on the top. Next we have the photo button, which is over to the right here of the let me see, move the camera in there, of the interface shoe right there. And then we have the power zoom level right here, lever I should say, for wide and telephoto. Over on the side here above the handle we have the N mark, and that's the near field communication mark, NFC. Over here on the hand strap we've got a loop for a shoulder belt. Then we've got the grip belt, Sony calls it, right here where you put your hand in. So your hand slides in there like that. Just up from the near field communication button we have the focus magnifier button. So you can operate that quite handily right by your hand when you have your hand in the strap. Just below the focus magnifier button we have the port for the microphone. So that's right in there, you could see there. And then below that we have a port for the Sony multi-micro USB. So that's what they call it, a multi-micro USB port. And then they each have those covers right there. Those are just in front of the handle right here, you can see there. On the front of the camera, below the lens, and just beside the Sony label here, you could see the remote sensor right there. And right beside it, kind of integrated into it, is the camera recording lamp, as Sony calls it, right there. Also built into that little setup there with the camera recording lamp is the night shot light. Up top here, just in front of the hot shoe there, is the microphone, the built-in microphone, which is a 5.1 channel surround mic. It's actually very nice sound I've found in my time with the AX100. Its onboard mics do very nicely. In a pinch you have no problem just using the onboard mics here. Over here we've got the lens ring, which has a very nice smooth zoom feel to it. On the front here is our Zeiss lens. So that's a beautiful lens with glass by Zeiss. Over on the side of the camera again is the zoom focus switch. So you can toggle back and forth between those two. Just below it is the autofocus manual focus button. So you can toggle between autofocus and manual focus there. Below that is the manual button, which allows you to go into manual controls. And then in front of that is this dial here that spins, rotates like so, and that's the manual dial, which allows you control over manual settings. Just back from the manual button here, we have the iris button, which allows you to access control of aperture, or iris as they tend to call it more often in camcorders. Then we have the gain ISO button, which is right here, so that allows you to change the ISO or the gain. And then we have the shutter speed button behind that, which allows you obviously to change your shutter speed. When we flip out the LCD screen, we have more controls over here, and you can see there's a speaker right there. Behind the SD card slot door there, we have the spot for the SD card, and we have the little lamp in there that indicates memory access, the memory access lamp. So it's flashing when the camera's writing to or accessing the memory card. Below that here, we have a cover where the HDMI out jack is, right there. And beside that, we have a cover here where you could plug in your headphones. That's your headphone jack. Continuing on in the buttons behind the LCD, we have a power button, we have a white balance button, we have a program AE button, your display button, and a night shot button. So those can all be accessed here behind the LCD when it's flipped out. There's also a view images button, as Sony calls it here, or what I would call a playback button. And then there's also a voice canceling button for the microphone, so it suppresses the voice of the person recording the movie. Obviously, this here is our touch panel LCD monitor, which is very nice for the fact that it is a touch panel screen, and it rotates 180 degrees, as you can see here. And you can actually close the LCD with the screen facing out. You could see that there. Looking in from the back here, we have the viewfinder, and this actually pulls out like so. And you probably heard there that the camera turned itself back on. So when that viewfinder is pulled out and activated, it does turn the camera on, same as when you're flipping out the LCD screen. On the back here as well, below the viewfinder and to the side of the battery, we have the auto manual switch. We also have the ND's filter switch, the neutral density filter switch, with settings from off, 1, 2, and 3, which is quite handy to have that built in. I should also point out there is an eye sensor beside the viewfinder, so it can sense when you're bringing the camera up to your eye. And there's also over on the side a viewfinder adjustment dial. So if the viewfinder appears blurred, you can adjust the viewfinder lens adjustment dial there and correct the problem. Beside the battery here, we have the power or DC in jack right there with a nice little cover that flips up. And related to that, up on the corner beside the viewfinder here, we have a power charge lamp, so it indicates when the camera is charging. Over here on the side of the hand strap, we have kind of a neat feature. This is a built-in USB cable, and it just tucks into the little slot for it there in the hand strap, but it gives you the constant ability to always be able to plug in very easily because of the built-in USB. You don't need to go searching for a cable. On the bottom of the camera, we have the tripod receptacle, or tripod socket as it were. We also have the release here for the battery. You just slide that back and the battery comes out. We'll put the battery back in, just pops in like that. The battery itself is an NP-FV70, as you can see there. We'll just pop it back onto the camera. So that's a quick tour of the FDR-AX100 from Sony with the Exmor sensor and obviously the 4K abilities, which is one of the great things about this. You know, coupled with the 18 times zoom Zeiss lens, the 4K abilities, and the fact that it's a 1-inch BSI sensor, this is quite a camera, and I've been very impressed with it in my time with it here for review. Thanks for tuning in, folks. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments. I'll try to get them answered for you, and we'll be back soon. Thanks.